the world. So I used to read GK Digest as far as I remember. So I participated in that quiz, and I don't know how, but I got the first prize. I mean, that was the starting journey. I mean, where I knew that this is something which interests me a lot. I had one teacher. I mean, he's not social science teacher, but he is an English teacher. Sir was once, he was discussing a topic in school and in a class, and he once asked me, do anybody know what do we call modern day Persia? So I was like, I was very fascinated with geography and stuff. So I told him, I shouted, sir, it's Iran. Can you tell the capital of Iran? So I was like, no, sir, it's Tehran. So then sir, shouted, no, this boy will be something someday.
Okay. Hello and welcome to Success Stories, an initiative by Bharat Bulletin brought to you by Fenesta, where we capture the road to success of different individuals and organizations. Assam Public Service Commission declared the results of combined competitive examination recently, and the success stories are inspirational. Today we have with us Muhammad Alamgir Laskar, who secured rank 85 in ACS. Welcome to the show, Alamgir. Thank you for agreeing to do this with us. Before we move into the detailed discussion, we have a segment which is called Icebreaker, where we'll do some light-hearted conversation. Okay.
No problem.
It is often said that the road to glory begins with, say, failure or a moment of realization. That sets you up. Can you recall any such moment that motivated you to go for the deep, struggle or the grind or the rigor that you had to put into this examination?
So, civil service is something. First of all, thank you so much for inviting me, and I'm pretty humbled and and I'll be very grateful. Like if my story can inspire someone. For civil service is something which I always wanted to do in my life. So this is a story when for the first time, I participated in a quiz competition back in my school days. So I studied in KB ONGC Shirupona. So ONGC had their golden jubilee in 2006. So I was in class 5. So they had a quiz competition for different section of classes. So in my section, I don't know how. I mean, I used to read. I was fascinated by things which were going around, in the world. So I used to read GK Digest as far as I remember. So I participated in that quiz, and I don't know how, but I got the first prize. Okay. I mean, that was the starting journey. I mean, where I knew that this is something which interests me a lot, and I got introduced to social science in class 6, and there. I had one teacher. I mean, he's not social science teacher, but he is an English teacher. Sir was once, he was discussing a topic in school and in a class, and he once asked me, do anybody know, what do we call modern day Persia? So I was like, I was very fascinated with geography and stuff. So I told him, I shouted, sir, it's Iran. Can you tell the capital of Iran? So I was like, no, sir, it's Tehran. So then sir, shouted, no, this boy will be something someday.
Okay.
So, I mean, these were the, days in childhood where, things were like, I felt, and also my people around me and my teachers, they said, you should go for this field, you are pretty good. And from my school days only, I used to represent my school in, social science exhibition, in debates and quiz, and and when it comes to social science, I always used to be a topper in the class, but eventually I didn't take humanities because of my parental pressure, because of course we come from a small city, and people think that humanities doesn't have a bright future. So I mean, my childhood, I mean, it was pretty much like everything has been manifested from my childhood itself.
Okay. So trivia and quiz were very interesting for you while growing up.
Yeah.
So another icebreaker question that I want to ask is that you did engineering, and you could do public service in your field as well.
Yes.
But why did you choose civil service above engineering?
Okay. So, I mean, I remember telling my father, like in 2018, I went to this Bongaigaon Refinery Premier League, and this IUCL Bongaigaon for my internship. So I went there, I saw how engineers work there. I mean, they have shift duty of 8 hours, and my father is also started as junior engineer, and then he got promoted to assistant engineer. So he also had this life of shift duty and all. So I told him about that I'm not pretty much comfortable doing a job in a certain place for years and years. I want a job which is dynamic, which will have challenges, and which will have a grassroots impact. So that is why I chose civil service, and I also see especially I come from Barak-Valley. I mean it is one of the most underdeveloped region in our country. So I would want to extend I would want to work in this field so that I can bring change. Because what happens, the government of Assam, government of India, they have planned, they have beautiful, lot of schemes and plans. But what happens, like people in the grassroots level, they don't know about it. The penetration is very low. So I would want to to raise awareness. There are schemes, there are programs which government of Assam and India have programmed for you, where you can take benefit. Like you can, any youth who is not getting a job, they can enroll themselves in skill center. They can get the necessary skills, and then they can easily get job in anywhere. Not just skills, they can also go for entrepreneurship and build their own business. So government is doing so many things, but people are not knowing. People, they don't know about it. So I really want to be that bridge between the government and the normal public, so that I can lift socio-economic condition of my people at large.
So you wanted to reach more people
Yes.
do more for the society just from engineering.
Yes.
So now we will move to some detailed discussion about your journey in civil service, so that we can, so people who are watching, you can know more about the preparation and the strategy that you put into this. So there is a saying that a person who is aimless is like a rudderless ship. But your story has motivated many. I can see in your Facebook profile as well, many people are very happy to see your result and very inspired with your result. So would you like to share some tenets of preparation, the strategy you put into behind cracking this examination that might help other aspirants as well?
First and foremost, I want to address why people are so happy. Because I'm any normal guy that you will see, any basic guy which is out there. Because I have done everything in my life. I have done all kind of news and stuff. I have been involved in sports, drama, school curricular activities. So I'm not like very studious who used to study for hours and hours. I have a huge friend circle. Whenever I go out, I talk to people. I'm a very extrovert person. And usually there is a notion that somebody of that the sort of qualities or character, they don't excel that much in studies. So somebody coming from that background and doing something of that sort, I'm pretty sure that has motivated a lot, and that's why people are so happy. So and I would like to tell everyone that studies are not the only thing that you should do in your life. While growing up, you should get involved in sports, in extracurricular activities, in debates, in quiz, school activities. This actually helped me. In UPSC, there is a paper called GS4. In GS4, when you write answers, if you give examples from your own life, from things which you have experienced, it fetches you a lot of marks. And how will you gain experience? How will you build those things if you don't go out and meet people, and if you don't get involved yourself in different activities? So that is why it is very important to go out, to meet friends, to play sports. Like I used to be I'm a huge sports maniac. My father and my parents, they were like, my mother, they were very worried. Like I used to spend majority of my time in sports and extracurricular activities. So they were like, "Tu kab padega?" And I was like, I will manage somehow. I'll manage, okay. But please don't stop me from playing. So during my school days, I played a lot. I was involved in table tennis, cricket, volleyball. In college, even I presented in my college in various cricket competition. I even played for various clubs, and then I even won many trophies in cricket. So yeah, I'm a very basic guy and who used to do all those stuff. And still I made it. If I can do it, anyone can do it. Anyone.
So someone who wants to crack this examination does not have to give up on life to prepare for the examination, right?
Yes.
So after the results were declared, an editor of a daily broadsheet argued that the individuals from Barak-Valley who cracked the examination got their training or preparation from outside.
Okay.
You yourself have been to Delhi for preparation.
Yes.
So do you think that is the deciding factor behind cracking the examination, or can someone prepare from the comfort of their home as well?
See, we have to look this thing in two ways. Obviously, if you go to Delhi, Delhi is a hub for UPSC and civil service examination. It actually helps. It does help. I mean, I will not like it helped in my case because I didn't have any guidance, prior guidance. I didn't have anyone in my family or in my friend circle who were preparing for the exam or who had any idea how to do it. So that's why I told my father that I need to go to the Delhi, and also I took an optional which is which is of humanities background, and I come from science background and engineering, so I didn't have any idea. That's why I went to Delhi. But nowadays we have seen that an education system has been democratized.
Yes.
I mean, it has we have a lot of online portal and YouTube is there. I mean, YouTube has revolutionized educational scenario. So I mean, if you have a proper environment in your house where you can cut off from from social gatherings and stuff for a few years, then I feel that you can do it from the comfort of your home itself, because YouTube and other like online portals, they have all the quality material. It is up to you how you use them. I mean, so a place of your birth should not be your deciding factor. I mean, you can, if you want to, you can excel staying where you are. Like, I know a lot of people. I mean, I had a small chat with Ayushi D. I mean, she's currently, I guess she's she's in Labasna, I mean, for her foundational course. So she told me like how she prepared from her, from her house itself during lockdown, even with a job. And then she went for, interview and for Delhi for just for a few months. I mean, like, you have an example of, her. I mean, and even I did my entire preparation from Delhi. I just did my initial preparation from Delhi. Then I came back to my home, and then I did the rest of my preparation were from my home itself. So, I mean, going to Delhi is not necessary. If you can afford. I mean, I could afford because my father just went to retirement, but then he was dependent on pension. I mean, of course, and we were so many siblings, so I had to come back. I mean, I didn't have any other options, so I told him, my father, okay, fine, I'll do it from the home itself. So yeah, I mean, if you can do it, it's just that how motivated you are, how badly you want it, and how desperate you are. You need to be desperate for your dream. I mean,
absolutely.
There is no other way.
Moving on to the next question, it must have happened to you as well to give up in the middle. You did engineering from a very good institute. You could land up in some MNC or some job. But what kept you motivated to, push behind that civil services? Because you could easily choose engineering. You had that option.
It's okay. Yeah, I mean, this is like, I have lots of stories, and this is one more story which I can share with people. I mean, there were a time during my preparation where I thought, I should get a job. Because, obviously I had immense pressure in my head because, I'm the only son, and my sisters are there. I mean, they are studying too. I mean, one of my younger sister was doing her engineering, and the other one is in Delhi University. So what happened in my family, there is only one source of income, and there's three sources of three ways spending.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it was it was getting very difficult for my father to manage. But then I asked my father, can you please manage? Can you please hold on? He said he can, but obviously his voice hesitated some a bit. So I thought I should look for other exams. I went on to clear UPSC CDS twice, but then I couldn't clear UPSC CAPF. I couldn't clear bank PO exams and clerk exam. I was so desperate. I was willing to settle for clerk, just because I wanted to support my family.
Okay.
So I mean, there were times I want to give up, but then I thought, I did so much of preparation. I did so much of hard labor, and for this thing to come. Let me give one shot properly, one exam properly, one of the exam circle properly, and then if I don't get through, then I will go somewhere else. And luckily, I'm very, very fortunate. I mean, everybody out there is working very hard. I mean, I do have some blessings of my parents and my grandparents who are not there anymore. I mean, so I mean, obviously without that, I don't think I could have made it. I mean, because everybody out there is working really hard. I mean, and clearing in the first attempt, it is, I mean, a big thing for me. And I don't know. I just maybe the zeal that I want to do it. It is my childhood dream. Something I always wanted to do, always. I was so passionate about. That's why I always told myself, "Bhai, bas, just hold on, one more attempt, one attempt, अच्छे से, and then you can go for something else." So yeah, I mean,
congrats on that.
It's like you need to be very ziddi, you need to be very stubborn with your dreams. I mean, that's the one thing which I guess kept me motivating. I am kind of stubborn. Like, I don't give up until unless I see a little ray of hope is left. I mean, तब तक मैं लड़ता रहूँगा.
I'm sure your stories that you have shared with us will motivate everyone. But before we go to the next segment, there is a short ad break. We'll be right back with an interesting yes and no segment. Please stay tuned with us. Welcome back. You are watching Success Stories brought to you by Fenesta, a Barak Bulletin initiative. We are here with Muhammad Alamgir, who secured rank 85 in the recently declared Combined Competitive Examination by APSC. We will go to the yes and no segment where we expect you to answer in yes or no, but you can give one-liner answers as well. So that this segment is called yes and no rapid fire. Okay.
Okay.
Coaching or self-study?
I guess self-study more, but more than coaching, if you have a good mentor, then it will help you.
Okay. Do you believe social media is a distraction? Yes or no?
It is completely personal. I mean, if you can, have a limited usage, then it is, fine. Because I like during my preparation days, Twitter has a huge role to play. Because I used to follow the news portals, and the different thinkers. They used to tweet and stuff, and I used to take points out of it and add to my notes. And I even used it in my essay, in my ethics paper, and even in some of my GS answers. So yeah, if you can use it judiciously in a smart way, then yes. Or else, if you can't, if you don't have a control in your, then no.
Do you think online preparation can completely replace classroom education when it comes to competitive examinations?
See, I didn't do online preparation as such. I did my coaching like classroom from ORN, but I would say like that interactive sessions, it is important. You can't completely replace classroom education. It is necessary, but yeah, if you are staying far in a far distant place, then online education is the way.
Okay. Did you give up on entertainment experiences like going to movies, dates, or parks while preparing for the examination?
Movies, rarely I went. Dates, during my initial days of preparation, I had someone, so I had to do it. But after that, some differences happened when we are not together anymore. So yeah, after that, I didn't take any movies. I didn't think that it is, wise to be in a relationship. But friends, lots of people have seen, I guess. So friends used to be my guilty pleasure. Whenever I used to feel, burden a lot of stuff, with a lot of studies, so I used to just watch, random 2-3 episodes of Friends. So yeah, I didn't give up on entertainment as such. You need it. You can obviously take out some time. You don't have to study for 12-13 hours for civil service. 6 hours of quality studies. If you sit for 10 hours, then you can you can say that you had 6 hours of quality studies, because during those 10 hours your mind will revolve a lot of here and there. So yeah, 6 hours of quality studies. That is a basic requirement.
Okay.
More than that, that's up to you.
Do you have Netflix installed on your phone while you are preparing?
I didn't. I used to take my friend's account. I didn't have much money for other stuff, because my father used to give me very limited amount of money. So my friends, they help me a lot, because since they are working in big companies, and they have all the stuff. So yeah, used to see from their account.
Is it safe to assume that you are an extroverted by nature?
Yeah, I can make friends. I can talk to anyone very easily. That's not an issue. And that's why I feel the civil service is just tailor-made for me.
Okay. This brings us to the last segment of our discussion. We'd like to conclude by putting you to the spot. So there is a perception that people who want to get into civil service are at a far low salary than a chemical engineer, because there is hard cash or under the table money.
Okay.
How do you react to that perception?
That perception is out of, obviously there are some bad examples out there. That's why people think in that way. But I would like to say one thing, civil service, I have always been passionate about civil service. If I wanted money if I prioritize money as my first, as my only thing in my life, then I would have went for few years in corporate, and then maybe MBA from a good IIM or something like that, and then I would have earned a huge package. where there is no ceiling level. But in civil service, obviously, you are under a government and the pay scale, and they will, you will earn a certain amount of money, and that's it. Like, I'm a person who has always lived in the basic amenities, basic level of amenities. So for me, I mean, money has never been the first priority. I have always told my parents, my friends. Some of my parents used to laugh, be like, "Yo, bhai, tu logo bewkoof bana raha hai." I'm like, "No, brother. I mean, civil service is something I want to do because I feel if I go there, I can make a difference. I feel an efficient officer, if he's out there, he can actually, do a lot of stuff which can, help the downtrodden, the people who are at the bottom of the ladder. I mean, so yeah, the actions will speak. And definitely, when I will, get into the service, and I will prove with my actions that, whatever I'm saying right now, I mean it, and I will work for the people, and money will always be a secondary thing for me.
Okay. So there is another common perception, actually driven by chain of events on the ground, that while you take oath to serve the public, you eventually end up serving at the pleasure of personal ambitions or local leadership, irrespective of your political affiliation. How do you respond to that?
So, see, I don't have much knowledge about, this, but they say that there is political pressure when you work for it, and I understand this. And as a civil servant, as a smart civil servant, he will always come out with, will always abide by the rules and regulations and the constitution of our country. And I will, no matter what, I will never compromise my principles with which I came to the service, and I will always work for the people of our country and my region. I mean, there is no negotiation on that.
While there is a lot said and written about officers, it is also true that you can be a part of the change. What would be your words of wisdom for the aspirants getting demotivated by these perceptions?
I mean, see, always remember why you started. I mean, that why is very important. I mean, if you started, for a reason that you will get a bungalow or a red light vehicle or personal security or stuff, then I mean that kind of motivation will wear off very easily. Right? But if you are serving for the purpose that I can actually work for the people who are very needy. I mean, see, for example, like, if you are an efficient officer, like, Poshan Abhiyan, which is going on,
yes.
right? The midday meal, they used to call it. I mean, if you can, make sure that, they are serving proper food, like with education, like, and for a good mental health, we need, nutritious food. I mean, if you can ensure that more and more people can come. I mean, if you can assure the poor people that we will give you one time of the poor the students that we will provide you the one-time meal, then they will be willing to come and study. Why? I mean, we know that why they are dropping out of school, because of course they want to help their mom and dad for raising some money for their own to fill their tummy. So yeah, I mean, there are so many things you can do. I mean, this is one such example which I gave you. So if you have this kind of, outlook that, the changes you can bring. Like, for example, there is a hospital, and, if you are an efficient officer, you can, make sure the doctors are present. For example, a pregnant woman is coming and she's about to deliver and she doesn't find a doctor. She doesn't find a doctor, and, it will be detrimental for both her and her child health, isn't it? So if you can do that, I mean, what else you need? I mean, if this kind of motivation you have inside you, then I guess you will be willing to work. And for that, a person need to be compassionate. A person need to be virtuous, and he needs to have some integrity. I mean, these are the qualities a person needs if he wants to come into this service and to sustain in the preparation, the hardship of the preparation. I mean, this entire journey will change you as a person, and when you end up becoming civil servant, you will definitely feel that you belong here, you belong there. I mean, so yeah, this journey is very enriching. It's very full of experiences, highs and lows, but it is all worth it. Like I always said in all my interviews, that it is all worth it. I mean, there is no such other beautiful, there is no such wonderful feeling than looking at your parents' face and I mean, being happy and crying for your success. I mean, it is amazing. I mean,
absolutely. So the goal should be realistic and not very materialistic.
Yeah.
My last two questions to you. After the results are declared, I'm sure many decided to prepare for APSC or UPSC, the recent results that are declared.
Yes.
So what would be your words of wisdom or your motivation to them, those who are starting preparation just now?
Okay. First and foremost, don't prepare for UPSC because some XYZ did. Okay. Civil service, if you are really interested in public service, if you really want to be a part of this curriculum, then you come to this service. Don't do it because somebody else is doing. Don't do it because if you clear civil service, there is a lot of hype and people get a lot of limelight and
there
stuff.
There is also idol worship.
Yeah, idol worshiping.
Yeah.
Don't come for that. I mean, because you will do a lot of harm to your career. I mean, every field you can excel in every field, and in every way you can contribute to the good of the society. If you are really into this, if you know that if you are someone who can who can manage all the challenges that civil service will bring to you, then come to this field. And once you do, stick to it. At least give 2 years. At least give 2 years of dedicated preparation, and then you can. I mean, if something is not happening, you can think about it. And having a proper strategy and not just working hard and hard will not be enough. You have to be very smart with your studies. Your study material, you have to choose it wisely, and once you decide what study material you want to study, stick to it. Don't keep on changing. What happens, a person ends up reading 10 to 12 books for a particular topic, and that thing becomes and at the end he doesn't learn anything. It is rather wise to read one book 10 times than reading 10 books.
Correct.
So be smart and study and be consistent. There is no other way to succeed in this exam. The minimum resources, maximum revisions, and a practice. Eventually you have to write answers. Eventually you have to solve MCQs. Eventually you have to speak. So work in all these 3 aspects, not just one of that. So you have to practice a lot. Reading is not enough. Practice, give wisely distribute your time, and if you have a mentor, if you get your answers checked, solve MCQs regularly, and if you have a problem with your communication skill, then stand in front of a mirror, try to talk, see what is your body language, voice modulation and everything, and talk to your peers in English. If you are giving exam in English medium, and whatever medium you are choosing, talk to the people, discuss about the recent things which are going on, have an opinion. And also I forgot to mention one thing, like newspaper had a huge role to play in my preparation. I started reading newspaper way back in class 6-7 because my English was really poor back then. Now I guess I can communicate properly.
Absolutely.
It is all because I was reading English from class 6 to 7. My English teacher recommended my father. I failed in English class in class 6.
Okay.
I failed in English. So my father was really angry. He's like, kya karu iska? He is so bad at English. How will he excel in life? English is required everywhere. He said he's very young. My English teacher said he can improve. Just get him an English newspaper and ask him to read whatever he wants to read. So during those days, I didn't know that you have to read the editorials and all those stuff. All I used to do is I used to get into the last page where the sports section was there, and I used to read all the Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi and stuff, and what is the EPL standing and what India is doing in the cricket field, whatever. So that's how my journey started. And newspaper is very important. So if you are preparing for UPSC, get hold of the Hindu or the Indian Express, whichever one you like. And don't have to read everything. There are various coaching institutes out there who say what to read. You can definitely take a note from that. And what happens, like when you read newspaper, it is you can build an opinion. Like after reading a lot of editorials, you can build your own opinion, and that is required. While you read, while you write the answers in mains, there are a lot of questions where they will ask your opinion, and you have to come out with a balanced opinion. You can't be against the establishment totally, or you can't be totally in favor of establishment. You have to come with a logical, viable and amicable solution, which is requirement of being a civil servant. And also during your interview they ask you questions, and for that you need to have an opinion about everything which is going around in this country and world at large.
Thank you for sharing all the tips and tricks, how you prepared, how you managed everything. My final question to you, how did your life change from the time the results were declared? I think it has been 3 days so far. So how did your life change from that evening till now?
I mean, I'm actually, I'm a bit scared. I mean, I mean, all this limelight, all this attention, all of a sudden, I mean, 3 days back, nobody knew me, and now the entire Silchar and the Kachar, I'm getting messages from people who never, used to talk to me. Like there are, I mean, it's a very funny thing. There are a few girls whom I wanted to, get friendly with. They never replied to my text, but now they are texting me, and I don't have the time to, open the chat box and, reply back to them. I mean, this is. I knew it will happen if I clear this exam, but one needs to stay grounded because this is very temporary. It will go for another 2-3 days, and after that, your life will be get back to normalcy. You have to work. You have, you'll again start complaining. I mean, human nature. I mean, of course. I mean, we never stop complaining, even though we achieve a lot, but still we feel like, yaar, kash ye ho jata, wo ho jata. So yeah, I mean, I'm full of gratitude. It is a very humbling experience. More than that, I'm happy that I can make my parents happy. Like they were under a lot of stress about me, thinking about me and what I will do and what. Since I had a 3 years gap with no work ex. I mean, even if I wanted to move to corporate, it would have been very difficult. So yeah, I'm pretty relieved actually because that बेरोजगार से रोजगार का सफर मैंने तय कर लिया है. Now I have at least a job. And all this attention, I know it is very fickle. I mean, I need to take it in a very sporting way. I can't get, over the board. And if I do, then it will not have a very good impact in my life. So yeah, I'm very grateful. But yeah, again, I'm sure I also know that this is very temporary.
Congrats once again on the success, and wish you all the best for the future endeavors. That was our episode on success stories featuring Muhammad Alamgir Laskar. This episode was brought to you by Fenesta. Hope you liked it, and if you did, please share it further. Thanks for watching, and thank you so much for giving us your time.